All right, let's just jump right into this explainer because what we're looking at today is, well, it's absolutely wild. We're breaking down this incredibly bizarre piece of media from a channel called Kaushik Bachadaji Extra. Now, the title is NASA's Most Disturbing Images, but here's the catch. It is subtitled as a sleep special. Usually, you hear sleep special and you think, soothing cosmic facts to help you drift off. But as we're going to see, this specific source material takes a literal left turn into something entirely different. Even though it bills itself as a sleep aid, I want to show you exactly how this transcript spirals from calming space facts into this deeply unsettling, repetitive loop. Just imagine drifting off, and suddenly this is what you hear. It's the absolute last thing you'd want whispered in your ear in the dark. So our goal today is to trace this exact path chronologically so we can experience the exact same jarring tonal shift that an unsuspecting listener would.
So, Section 1, a bizarre sleep special.
Moving into Section 2, supernovas and stellar embryos. Okay, so the text actually kicks off exactly how you'd expect an educational astronomy explainer to start. It's got this super logical, scientific flow. It guides you from these ancient, totally factual supernova observations made by Chinese astronomers right into the formation of protostellar embryos, streaming these incredibly hot gases in 6 directions. It even invites us to witness the elements and pulses of the Cat's Eye Nebula. Honestly, at this point, it's structured, it's educational, and it feels completely normal and safe. But here's where it gets a little interesting. The source uses some slightly quirky terminology to describe that Cat's Eye Nebula. If you look closely alongside the totally normal scientific terms like elements, pulses, and layers, it just casually throws in the words friends and Dutch clouds. It's like, wait, what? It's our very first tiny hint that maybe this narration is generated by something a bit unconventional, or maybe it's just a really weird translation. Still though, the overall vibe is very cosmic and exploratory. Then, the transcript just casually drops this massive sense of scale. It mentions a system and a giant moon system located a staggering 40 billion miles away. 40 billion. It really reinforces that vast, isolating, quiet nature of deep space. And hey, when you're trying to sleep, thinking about something 40 billion miles away is a pretty good way to make your earthly worries feel microscopic, right? Which brings us to Section 3, Galaxies and Infrared Technology. So, zooming out from those vast distances, the narrator starts listing off these different celestial bodies to really paint a picture of the universe for us. We've got the very uniquely named Best Space Scope 7, followed by standard astronomical stuff like Galaxy NGC 5134, a 2-star cluster, and the 101 Galaxy, even taking specific note of its fuel and shape. It's this very rhythmic, soothing list of space phenomena. It's practically designed to make your eyelids heavy. And to actually witness these galaxy stars and particles, the text specifically talks about relying on near-infrared instruments and a near and mid-infrared camera instrument. It is really doubling down on the scientific jargon here. If you're listening to this, at this point, you're fully immersed in what feels like a high-end documentary about space exploration tech. You feel completely secure, you're probably half asleep. But then, we hit this terrifying pivot. The narrator gives what sounds like this calm, almost poetic send-off, literally saying Milky Way, goodbye, enjoy. And then, literally without any warning, the entire script just breaks down. The calm space narrator is completely gone, instantly replaced by this sudden, jarring anomaly. My name is Hallelujah Heat Heat Heat. And that drops us right into Section 4, the Hallelujah Heat Anomaly. This is the shocking climax of the whole source material. All those nice educational space facts, completely gone. Nobody is talking about near-infrared cameras or 40 billion miles anymore. Instead, it's just replaced by this entity suddenly declaring, my name is Hallelujah, followed by this frantic, rapid-fire repetition of the word heat, and then it ends with this highly accusatory, oh, you. Seriously, just imagine the absolute cognitive whiplash of listening to this in a pitch-black room. And from there, it just spirals into this relentless, rhythmic loop. It repeats the word heat 24 times in rapid succession. Syntax? Gone. Grammar? Out the window. Storytelling? Completely abandoned. It literally just becomes a wall of aggressive noise. That repetition just aggressively forces you out of whatever relaxed state you managed to find during the Milky Way part. And then, even the logic of the breakdown itself starts to fracture. The entity's identity seems to mutate right in the middle of a sentence. Like, just seconds ago it was saying its name was Hallelujah, right? Well, now it shifts to declaring my name is Heat, followed by more repetition, the word Hallelujah again, and then the super bizarre command to just go down. It really feels like whatever algorithm or script is generating this text is glitching out in real time and confusing its own variables. But wait, it gets crazier. Right in the middle of this aggressive chanting loop of heat and hallelujahs, the text does something so much more alarming. It literally stops to ask the listener a direct, highly unsettling question: what about you? It completely breaks the fourth wall. After just battering you with a wall of total nonsense, it suddenly demands your engagement. It's a terrifyingly brilliant example of how a sudden shift in tone can just completely disorient someone. And of course, it doesn't even wait for an answer. It dives right back into the frantic chanting, but now it starts throwing in a few conversational hey-hey-heys just to keep things completely unhinged, and then the transcript just abruptly ends. Just stops. It leaves you hanging in this state of high anxiety, which is literally the exact opposite of what a sleep special is supposed to do. Which leaves us with this final, burning question to ponder. If you were actually falling asleep to this, how would you react when your soothing space facts were suddenly hijacked by hallelujah heat? What on earth causes a piece of digital media to start with ancient Chinese astronomy and end with an aggressive rhythmic chant demanding your attention? It's just a fascinating look at the strange, totally unpredictable artifacts floating around out there on the internet. Thanks for diving into this bizarre explainer with me. Keep questioning the things you listen to, guys, especially when you're just about to fall asleep.